is that he cares about what you think and your opinion of things, all right? So of course, that doesn't sound bad at all. There's nothing wrong with that. Who doesn't want a man as a woman that actually values your voice, values your input? And a man should care about that. And again, I would say that if he does love you, he will. And so with that, he's going to consult with you about things. He's going to want to tell you about things he has planned. He's going to, let's just say what's coming to mind right now. Let's say he wants to buy a new car. He'll want to see what you think. What kind of car do you like? What would you think is a good car for him to get? Now, please understand this. This doesn't automatically mean just because he values your opinion that every man who loves you will always take your opinion. Wanting it and implementing it are two different things. But he will want it. But here is how it can now cross over into a problematic area. Because as for a lot of men, when they're in love, when they're truly into a woman, even for some it could be infatuation, this strong desire to impress the woman, to want her approval, all these things, pushes him into an area where now he may struggle to make decisions without your input. Now, again, on the surface, that may sound okay. But when you start to examine relationships, and that's what I do for a living, so I've gotten to see it from various angles, it can become tiresome sometimes for some women when he's unable to do things without her hands being on it. All right? And again, it may not even be that he is not capable. It's just that he is trying so hard to make sure that she is included to the point where he loses sight of how he needs to lead in some situations. Now, we can discuss, a man leading in general relationship, but we're not going to focus on that. We're just saying that at the very least, there are going to be times where you want him to go, just handle it. Like you don't even want that burden. But again, he's crossing that line because he wants to include you, as well as because he's trying so hard to impress and be what you want and be what you like because he's so into you. And again, it's not that he doesn't love you. He does not know how to handle his love for you. He loses himself in that process. He starts to become more passive because he's defaulting to you or, everything's about you. And for a lot of women, that can start to become unattractive. Now, there may be some of you who say, nah, I'm good. If he does that, I love it. I'm with it. Sign me up. But that's not always the case. And I guess for this specific point, I'm speaking to those of you that it can cross an unattractive line, so to speak. And I think it's important to discuss these things and the things that I'm going to mention later on the list, because I've seen so many potentially great relationships fall apart because, again, people don't know how to handle their love for each other. And more specifically, when we're talking about men, the way that I like to frame it or label it is that men don't know how to love within their masculine, or men struggle to, a lot of men. All right? Because they have not been taught that. Because the other thing that I think women have to understand about a man who is in love, because the reality is so many of you have been exposed to men who aren't in love, men who just want to have fun, men who only want to use you, that you may not really get what's happening to the guy who has real feelings. And this guy, again, because he is not used to having these types of emotions and thoughts and desires for a woman, he does not know how to properly manage it in a way that it doesn't become a little, again, unattractive. And this is where I say he has to learn how to love in his masculine, almost love with a poise to him, love with an understanding of balance to the situation, love with understanding that you still for most women, if not all, still desire that masculine energy from him. But yes, you want that loving, nurturing energy from him at times too. And it's a balance because let me just say this. We all, as men and women, have masculine and feminine energy within us. The goal isn't to just be one, it's to learn how to tap into both when necessary. However, I will always make the argument that what the average man is going to be successful with is making masculine energy his dominant energy, and the woman, feminine energy, her dominant energy. But you will still tap into both at different times. Anyways, to get back to the point, his over-reliance on your opinion, on your input, maybe even you flat out doing things. Well, what do you want? How do you want to do it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, how about you tell me what you want to do? That can cause a problem. But I would encourage you that if you ever experience that with that man, and this is a man you are into and you do have a desire for, that you discuss these things. I've seen a lot of women, again, get turned off, and rather than address it properly, either start to distance herself from the man, start to maybe react to it in a negative way that then hurts him. Because remember, because he is not used to being in this state, he also becomes more sensitive to what you have to say and how you feel and how you view him. And so if you lash out in a moment, that can, it can make him feel some kind of way. And so it's important that we discuss these things when we recognize it rather than immediately kind of react to it. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. You deserve a man who desires to give you the commitment that you truly deserve. And believe it or not, there are tons of men, yes, tons, that are willing and prepared to get into serious relationships. And there's a man out